Hello and welcome along to another bookmark from this FM21 Builder Nation story with Bangor City with me, Daniel. It's part 186 today and we are here 20 years in the future for the final bookmark of this save. The only episode after this one will be our 5 years in the future one without us in charge to see how this club and this nation has progressed or declined, as I suspect it may have done over the 5 years after we resign. However, today we'll be looking back at the last 5 years, both for Bangor City, Welsh football, and the rest of the key English and Scottish leagues and the European trophies. We'll see who's been winning everything. But we'll also have our final look around the club. So we'll be looking at simple things like who are our icons, our legends, what have the attendances been like, are there any new stadiums in Welsh football, all of those little niche things that get asked that we'd quite like to know the answer to. And we'll have a look at our profile as well for the final time. So if you're looking forward to all of that, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. I really hope you've enjoyed the series and the final season in particular. I hope you're looking forward to the FM22 plans, which are in the eye above. And you can subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on to make sure you don't miss a beat. We'll still be live on Twitch plenty over the next week, not playing FM, but having a chat and hanging out. So do come and hang out and join us there if you have got any time on your hands before the new game arrives, because we've got a lot to get through today with Bangor City. Let's start with a personal level, looking at our profile and our contract. So we've become very good characteristic-wise. I just wanted to know what we're known for. We're known for leading teams to titles. We're known for playing attacking football and preferring defensive football. Someone can explain that to me. We've spent 20 years virtually entirely on controlling attacking football, and we're somehow preferring a defensive style. Don't quite get that. Signing players of a high reputation, because I guess compared to our club we are. Strict disciplinarian. Not signing players that are past their best, which is fine. So we always sign much younger players. That's fair enough. I can take that. But the little attacking defensive conflict there is a little bit bizarre. We've got loads of high reputation managers that really support what we're doing, and a few former players as well. So we've got the likes of Ben Hockenho in there, but then on a contrast, we've got Gennaro Gattuso. So really weird mix there. We still have 2 years on our contract. We're still on over 15 grand a week. We've actually got a 4.5-star reputation now, despite not really going to the very end of a European competition. But it shows how far the Welsh League has come. However, if I show you our history, we have had one hell of a ride. Days on holiday, one day, which I think was a day where the save broke. I think it was a transfer deadline day actually, where it wouldn't process. But one day out of 20 years is a pretty incredible effort. Number of club jobs won, we were in charge for 7,264 days at Bangor City. Total career earnings of over £6 million. The most we have spent is £11 million, almost a quarter of our total value spent on 142 players in 20 years. However, the money we've brought in is nearly double that, 90 million, including 14 for Ludomir Srom at the start of the last year. Over £1 million paid to agents, 65 players released. We're of course the highest ranked manager in Wales. However, we've made it in 7th place in the English nationality one as well. An incredible effort given the fact we've been in low reputation competitions for the most part. We deserve huge credit for managing to achieve that. In terms of our stats over our career, 951 games won. That's only 211 games that we haven't won in our career. A win percentage of 81, 41 cups, 19 leagues and 1 promotion in the first season. 3,606 goals scored and just 708 against. So we're actually conceding just over 1 in 2 and scoring about 3 a game on average. It's an incredible statistics page to finish on. And TNS have to take some of the blame for that, though the fact that it was so one-sided so early on, from a domestic point of view that is. Of course, we mentioned earlier in the save, we were offered the England job towards the end, never got the Wales job despite applying once. We also had that bizarre situation last season, we were getting offered jobs left, right and centre. Tottenham, Leeds, West Ham, Middlesbrough all offered interviews. But of course, we stayed loyal to our one true love in Bangor City. So let's go and have a look at the club a bit more generally over the last 5 years and see what's been happening there. So for those of you taking over the save, I did put a copy of the current save file in the comments of the last episode, so you can go back and find it there if you haven't already downloaded it. We did lose our facilities a little bit. I just went down in terms of modern technology, so we've got new youth facilities. Let me just request the training ones as well, try and get them straight back up to scratch, which looks like unlike the youth ones, have been approved first time. So that makes that a little bit easier. However, if we go back to where we were, apologies for getting sidetracked. We're still at Namporth, maxed out at 5,100 capacity. Still not enough seating to play for Europe there. And that's what annoys me. I know we can't expand the capacity at Namporth anymore, but surely we could convert the terracing into seats and play our European games there. But doesn't seem to be the case regardless. We tried to get a new stadium, and unfortunately it was rejected. I'm not going to try again, just because I'd like you guys to be able to do so after a big year if you've taken over the save. In terms of affiliate clubs, just Arriva Bangor, we found it really hard to get affiliate clubs this year, particularly ones that will stay. The Athen Lido one went after a few years, other clubs were getting promoted, and really it would be ideal to have an affiliate club lower in the Welsh Premier League, but it's not something in FM that's achievable, and I think that might be a tad unrealistic, to be brutally honest. However, that's the club behind the scenes facilities wise. Let's have a look at rivalries, because that's something you guys have asked. We have got a competitive one with TNS, so that one has built over time. I'm really annoyed Rave's not up there, because we've seen in Europe before, those sort of rivalries can develop, but it hasn't done here. So your only rival in the top tier is TNS. There's the historic one with Wrexham that can't really be fulfilled, and then ones with Prestatyn and Carnarvon who are further down the leagues. I'm sure Bala were up there at the start. Maybe it was just the most local one. Oh, look, there you go. So the derby with Bala, but they're not a rivalry. Seems a little bit odd, that, doesn't it? But there you go. Bala are the most local derby, and then TNS are the other rivals. The finances are phenomenal. We'll look at them in a minute. Maybe we've just explained why our season tickets haven't gone up so much. The price is £543. My word. I'm starting to have a little bit more sympathy with the Bangor City fans there. Hopefully, that's something that will improve over time. If we have a look at the club legends, we are there. As is Lloyd Goulding, which, considering he didn't actually break any of the records, is a little bit strange. He's ahead of Kane Walters, who broke the league goal scoring record. He's ahead of the likes of Kyo Bulkley and Tom Jones, who came through the academy. One of them, huge in Europe, a world-class player, a big Welsh international. The other broke the league appearance record. And actually, Joe Duffy and Max Dean scored more league goals than Lloyd Goulding as well. So I find it really strange, and I'd love to know what it is that made him the legends and the others just icons. Because even some of them were at the club longer than him. I really don't understand that. But most importantly, we have broken through as a club legend, and that's something that we can hold on to. Favourite personnel, Kai McDonald, everyone remembers him. But Roberto Simancas and young Kean Bulkley both already made their way on there. That's a massive sign of intent for Kean. He might drop off if his minimum fee release is activated in the summer though. It's such a shame this game is weighted so against defenders, because I'd love to see the likes of Whelan and Jennings break onto there as well. They've really deserved it over the years, and they will deserve it as they move forward too. They're currently captain and vice-captain of the squad, but it's not been enough to help them break through. But those are the icons, legends and favoured personnel. Let's have a look at the profile of the club. 3.5-star reputation, just happened in time for the end of the save. Tate probably coming back from his loan with TNS. I don't think it can be extended again. So there is a lot to look forward to at Bangor City if you want to take over this save. We have won the league every year bar two. The first year we were obviously getting promoted, and the third year we had a massive collapse. But TNS didn't take advantage of that stage, and I think it changed the save forever. A dip in the Welsh Cup in 2028 after going the first 3 years without winning it. The League Cup, just a little bit odd as we went throughout, but the last 10 years been a clean sweep. SPFL Trust Trophy, probably the hardest one to get down. We won it from 2026 through to 2033, with the exception of 1 year, where we were runners-up, of course. Then we bizarrely went 4 years without winning it, but we managed to get back and win it 3 of the last 4 seasons. Just disappointment this year in the end. Of course, we did make Europa League semi-finals. We made a Europa Conference quarter-final quite early on. And we also made that Champions League quarter-final this year. History in the making for Bangor City. It leaves the nation coefficient up in the top 10. But for Bangor City, it's an incredible effort. Let's have a look at the records just because I want to show you. Most league goals by a player, Kane Walters. Most overall goals by a player in a season, Kane Walters. All the more reason he should be ahead of Goulding. Most league appearances by a player, Tom Jones. And most league goals by a player in a season, still Samuel Fanian in Season 1. Now, I know there were a few more games, obviously, in the second tier, but one hell of an effort regardless. Brilliant player, and someone who's probably forgotten later on in the save, but is an absolute superstar. We've got youngest player is Dewi DeRosa. Little bit of a shame really, because he wasn't one of the best youth players. Oldest player, Chris O'Grady, again, back in the early days. Season 3, I think that was. No, Season 2. Fastest goal was Lloyd Goulding, 13 seconds, just a year or so ago. And to be honest, the youngest player, Mubarak Whelan, probably deserved. He's officially a wonder kid. He's probably as good as Lloyd Goulding already. He's a wonderful, wonderful player. So huge props to Bangor City, massive enjoyment. George Wickens gets a mention on there as well. Lovely to see him feature too. And as part of this, what I'd like you to do down in the comments if you're watching and if you've been following regularly, is just let me know over the series, what's your favourite 11? That's the thing I'd really like to know. I wonder if we can see the best 11 here. I'd like to know what it is on this save. So, George Wickens is still the keeper. I can understand that ahead of Simancas. McDonald at right back, Weaver at left back, Badebo and Whittaker at centre half. I guess because Whelan and Jennings are still young, that's understandable. And actually don't think many people would probably argue with that, would they? I don't think there's many that could compete. Jack Hankins on the bench as a right back. I'm a little bit annoyed that Scott McKenzie's on the bench. He doesn't deserve to be there. But everyone else, I think we're pretty happy with defensively. Harvey Lloyd in a holding role, absolutely no doubt whatsoever. In midfield, Kyo, Bulkley, Ruben Reyes, Tom Jones. Again, you might have differing opinions. Ian Brooks, a great example on the bench. Again, Christopher Broome probably doesn't deserve to be there. I'm sure Nathan Roberts will break in the future. And there's a couple of others that might have been contenders. But overall, we can't argue hugely. What does annoy me is that despite the fact we broke our league goal scorers record 3 times with Kane Waters, with Max Dean and with Joe Duffy. We had Greg Pringle, who wasn't here for long but was a superstar. They picked Kresimir Loza in the overall best 11 in history. That infuriates me. Lloyd Goulding, fair enough. Waters on the bench with Duffy, fair enough. But Max Dean should be in that squad instead of Kresimir Loza. I'm really upset by that one. That's the only one in this whole 18. I mean, McKenzie shouldn't be there, but he's on the bench, it's fine. Of that 11, Kresimir Loza could not really tie the laces of the rest of that team. And it's really frustrating to me that he's got a place in a starting lineup. Even Samuel Fanian had more of an influence in the save. So that's the one that annoys me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think most of that team couldn't be argued with overall. You might have different opinions. There's some where it's very close. But most of this team is there on merit. You can't argue with their appearances. However, Kresimir Loza, that's just a disgrace. So unlike the other bookmarks, we don't really need to look forward on what we're going to do for the next 5 years at Bangor City. However, we do need to go and have a look at what's been happening elsewhere in Welsh football. The finances at this club are phenomenal, coming up to £250 million now. There's certainly money for a new stadium if they ever get there. The European coefficient is looking lovely for Wales. We finish on the cusp of 9th place again, just under a point behind Austria. And next year, for you guys taking over, they're losing their best year. We're losing our worst. So keep your eyes peeled on that one because you should be able to go back up to 9th, which helps whoever the runners up in the league are. Maybe you take charge of another club and see how they compete against Bangor City. Let me know your progress either way. In terms of the club coefficient, I'll just show you where we finished with Bangor City. 14th place. And our worst year's coming off next year. So if there's another historic year there, could be on the cusp of the top 10. Next year due to be 109. And that would put you above all bar 7 clubs, I think. So only behind the top 6 plus Atletico, Bangor City could be up to 8th place, depending on how other teams do. So exciting times for them. If we get Wales up as well, TNS up to 59th, Barry Town to 88th. Colwyn Bay even on the cusp of the top 100 now, with another good year to come next year and another poor year to drop off. And Carmarthen going to be creating their own European history this season. So I can't wait to see how they get on both in our 5 years in the future and for you guys taking over. But let's go and finish off by having a look at all the big English, Scottish and European competitions. And we start with the Premier League, where it's back-to-back titles for Liverpool, but a very condensed league with low points totals at the top. 77 points to win it, 7 defeats and 8 draws, incredibly low. Before that, United, Arsenal and Chelsea, so seems like we're in an era where it's shared out a bit. We mentioned about Sheffield Wednesday being in the Champions League this year. They've qualified in the top 6 again for Europe. However, Arsenal in 5th, beaten by Burnley, who get up to 4th. Now, in the whole save, they've had a few 7th place finishes and a few European seasons. They've never finished above 7th till this season. And look who knocked Arsenal out of the Champions League. It was Hector Bellerin, in charge of Burnley and sneaks them 4th place above his former club Arsenal. That's a storyline for the end of the save, isn't it? Certainly one they'd be talking about in all the news outlets. The Championship playoff final will be Reading v Southampton, Wolves and Brentford up, my club Luton Town down with MK Dons and Pompey. Crew doing well to be up there, but again, no one really more than 1 or 2 divisions out. No massive shocks at the top level. League 1, Cambridge have won the playoff final. They're going into the Championship with Coventry and Sunderland. Going down, Bolton Oldham, Forest Green and Bristol Rovers. York stay up in League 1, having started in the National League North, so a good recovery from then. I don't think there's any other massive ones though. Notts County started in the National League, but we would expect them to come back up. I think we've got to be pretty unsurprised by the rest of it. League 2, playoff final is Rotherham v Carlisle. Rotherham dropped from the Championship at the start of the save, of course. Solihull winning League 2, National League side in real life. Plymouth dropping out of the Football League. They finish in 23rd place, and it's going to be their first time out of the Football League as well. That's a bit of a shock. I can't, though, see anything else that really stands out. FC United obviously being in the Football League, but gone down pretty comfortably in the end. Let's look at the National League. Woking beat Northampton in the playoff final. Burton win the league, starting in League 1, of course. Southport, Barrow, Torquay and Dulwich Hamlet down, so 2 leagues down for Barrow. In the middle of the table, we have got Gillingham, who started in League 1. Accrington, who started in League 1. Northampton, who started in League 1. And that's about it. No one making a big rise up the divisions, other than really York. The North playoff, Cheltenham losing the final to Basford. So they're stuck down in the regional leagues, as a Mansfield. So definitely a few more shocks in the northern side of English football. They're down in leagues we wouldn't expect to see them. In the south, Boreham Wood lose to Yeovil in the final, an all-National League final from real life there. Any sides from the Football League? I don't think so. The bigger shocks definitely seem to come in the north. Whether that's a financial thing inbuilt into FM to reflect what probably happens in society, I don't know. But regardless, we've definitely got a few surprises in the north and not really any down in the National League South. Let's look at the big English competitions quickly. The FA Cup won by United this year. Liverpool, Burnley the year before, West Ham and City. So a few little surprises in there. The League Cup, Leeds won it, Sheffield United, Everton got one. Only a couple of the big boys winning there. Into the Community Shield where we're not too worried, but Burnley did nick one of them as well. EFL Trophy, 2 under-21 sides in a row, but Hull, Crewe and Walsall before that. And the FA Trophy, Blackpool won it, so they were in non-league a few years ago. But Stockport, Fylde, Maidstone and Woking win it the other years. Let's move on to Scotland quickly. Celtic win the league, so Raith Rovers dropping off a little bit. They're down to 3rd this year. Now don't forget, Scotland have got into the top 3 coefficient-wise and had 7 teams in Europe. Now they're back down to 6 in 5th place. But regardless, 2 titles for Raith in the last 5 years. They are the story of the save. They've done even more than us. They won a Europa League. Raith Rovers won a Europa League. Greg Pringle, the top scorer in the Premiership. What a player. On 105 grand a week, worth £31 million. And one of our brief but greatest ever players. 44 appearances, 47 goals. All salute Greg Pringle. Name of the save that. No other major shocks in the top division. Ayr United, nice to see them there. The Championship, let's have a look at the table. Any massive shocks? Montrose doing quite well, but nothing outstanding. League 1, Clyde v Arbroath in the final, no surprises there. What about League 2? League 2 has Arbroath dropped a couple of divisions. Of course, the side will be managing an FM mobile next year, but nothing else that really stands out. Fraserburgh up in the playable leagues with Brawant, nice to see. But again, maybe Queen of the South a slight shock, but nothing really huge happening in the domestic leagues. Let's go and have a look at the Champions League and the other European trophies, because of course we've been involved in those in the latter years, but never quite got over the line. The Champions League this year won by Barcelona, who via penalties stopped City getting their 3rd in a row. Bayern and Manchester United before that. The Europa League, Raith Rovers are there. It's just the story of the save. Lyon, Ajax and then Chelsea and United the last 2 years, but go on Raith Rovers. We're both proud and annoyed that they won it as well, because that could have been our year. They beat us in the semis very narrowly. If we'd come up against Arsenal, it could have just been a one-off game. I feel like that was the opportunity missed. The Europa Conference, TNS reached the quarter-finals this year, but Sheffield United got an English name back on the trophy. Norwich started the 5-year stint. Dundee from Scotland, another side winning a European trophy. Aberdeen had got it a couple of years before. And then Leipzig and Monaco filling the other two voids. Let's finish off with the World Cup and European Championships. So the World Cup, the current holders of France, they've won 4 in a row and 5 of the last 6. Italy, the only team to put a blotch on the record. That's incredible. Considering we haven't got the French league loaded, and the French league has been generally poor, by the way. That is a remarkable effort. Let's have a look at the European Championships. The final one we'll take a glance at. The Netherlands win it last time. Italy, Portugal and Germany before that. England got a nice group this time with Portugal, but Norway and Serbia should be beatable. Interesting to see who wins that if you guys take on this save. I said it'd be the last one, but should we do the Nations League as well? Just see who's been winning that. Anything for England? Anything we can get excited about? Let's have a look. The Nations League has been won by Italy, France, Serbia and Portugal in recent years. England did win it twice in the 2020s, but nothing in the last few years. A real surprise that. No real progress from Wales either. We should have a look at them as they're a side we wanted to manage. We wanted to complete the Builder Nation. But despite having loads of our world-class stars, they're only 28th in the world. And ironically, since Ian Bennett took charge instead of us, ridiculous looking at his stats, they've actually fallen down a cliff a little bit and started to drop down the rankings. So maybe the Welsh FA regret that decision. But let me know in the comments what you've thought of this save. For me, it's been a remarkable rise. It's been a brilliant spell. But in the end, we just fell short ultimately. And that will always be a disappointment. TNS will always remain a disappointment at a save for me. But we're still in a brilliant position. But now it's your turn. You can take over the save. It is in the comments of the last episode if you want to download the file. And it will be available for the next couple of weeks. So let me know how you get on. Come and post pictures on the Discord page. Come and keep me up to date with your progress in the comments. And let me know what you thought of what we've looked through today. Any big surprises I didn't notice? Or is it as you expected at the 20-year mark? If you did enjoy this little look back, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. You'll get alerts as tomorrow's episode releases 5 years in the future here. And of course, FM22 is just around the corner. Daily videos to come, 2 videos a day during the beta, and live streams every day too. You can find the Twitch channel up in the eye above to keep up to date with the latter. And there's links up there to the FM22 plans video as well, so you'll know everything we're planning to do when the new game releases. But a massive thank you for watching, for following along with this series. It's become one of my favourite and certainly one of the most dramatic we've ever had on the channel. A massive thank you for supporting it, for being along as always. It is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you tomorrow for the final ever bit of action from this save, as we skip 5 years in the future and see what Bangor City and Welsh football does without us. I'll see you there.